But there's a specific scenario that's taking place here, that's also taking place in your life, and I want to make sure that I'm bringing this to your attention. You're not the only person going through this. I got some things that I'm going through in my life too, but I want to remind you of something. So I'm going to read this real quick. So this is Isaiah 7, and we're going to go ahead and start here. It says, when Ahaz, the son of Jonathan, the son of Israel, who is king of Judah, right? King of Judah. King Rezin of Aram, and Pekah, son of Realah, king of Israel. So Israel was divided between Judah and Israel, right? Jerusalem and Judah and Israel. So two different kingdoms of Israel. But anyways, it says Israel marched up against Jerusalem, but they could not overpower it. So here's a situation where you have two nations coming against the house of David, which is Israel or Judah, right? You have two nations who are overwhelming the house of Judah. And it says, now the house of David was told, Ephraim has allied with Ephraim. So the hearts of Ahaz, the house of David, and its people, the kingdom, was shaken. They were troubled, like the trees in the forest when the wind blows. So these people were afraid. They were worried. They were filled with anxiety. They doubted that victory was possible. They were already losing faith in conceding to the idea that they could be victorious, right? They did not have any confidence because the forces that were coming against them in their life was so overwhelming. It was overwhelming. And it says, then the Lord said to Isaiah is the prophet. So then the Lord said to Isaiah, go out, you and your son, to meet Ahaz, which was the king of Judah. Ahaz, at the end of the aqueducts at the upper pool. Say to him, so now you have Isaiah the prophet, who is the mouthpiece of God. So now God is getting ready to speak to Ahaz through the mouth of the prophet, because the prophet is the mouthpiece of God, and says, say to him, be careful, keep calm, and do not be afraid. Do not lose heart because of these two smoldering studs of fire, because of the fierce anger of Rezin and Aram, of the sons of Reah. Aram and Ephraim have plotted ruin. So now God is telling them they're plotting against you. Yes. They want to invade Judah. They want to divide Judah. They want to tear it apart, and they want to divide it amongst themselves. And then they want to install a table king, a puppet king over it. So they want to come and tear it apart. They want to divide it. They want to split it up. And they want to install a king that they can control. A king that they can rule. A king that bends to their wills. And when they pull a lever, that king does what it says. But the Lord said, yet this is what the sovereign Lord says. It will not take place. What you think is going to happen because it looks like it's going to happen, it won't take place. What you think is going to happen because it looks like it's going to happen, it will not take place. I'm going to give you their game plan. I'm going to give you their strategy. This is exactly what they want to do, but it will not take place. And he says, Ephraim will be, in 65 years, Ephraim will be too shattered to even be a people. He says, if you do not stand firm in your faith, if you do not stand firm in your faith, you will not stand at all. If you do not stand firm in your faith, you will not stand at all. And then again, the Lord spoke to Ahaz through his prophet, ask the Lord your God for a sign, whether the deepest depths or the highest heights. ask. So the prophet is telling Ahaz, who's in the situation, who's facing these two different kingdoms, whose people and himself are going through whatever they're going through. And he says, ask God for a sign, and he will give it to you. Ask him for a sign, whether it's the deepest depths or the highest heights. Try God. But Ahaz said, I will not ask. I will not put the Lord to the test. Sometimes we go through these things in our lives and we feel like what we got going on is too big for God to handle, or God has more important things for him to do, or I'm going to try to resolve this on my own because I see what I'm dealing with. And I think I have the capacity, the ability to deal with it on my own. And he says, try me, but then Ahab refuses. Ahab refuses. He does this thing where he feels like he's being humble. This is false humility. He says, I will not ask. I will not put God to the test. I'm not going to bother God with this one. Then Isaiah said, hear now, house of David. Is it not enough to try the patience of humans? Why will you now try the patience of God? Therefore, the Lord himself will give you a sign. God is trying to give you a sign. He wants to give you a sign. And he says that he needs you to ask him. So the Lord doesn't just want to speak through the prophet. He wants to be able to confirm through the prayer and the petition of Ahaz himself. He doesn't want you just going off of the word of counsel. He wants you to go off of the word that you had spoken to him, and he proves it to you by giving you a sign. Here's the deal. When you ask, asking is not simply Lord, Lord. No. Asking is a legitimate framework. Asking is petitioning and being prayerful, acknowledging that this God has what you need. He has the ability to help you and deliver you. He has what you need. He can help you with what you need help with. So you're going through the authority of God. You're asking an authority that has the ability to change your situation. So you're not just asking for the sake of asking. You're asking because you know the person that you're asking can actually help you with the situation that you're going through. And so when you ask, you have to ask, you have to ask, you have to understand that you're approaching an authority that can help you with whatever it is that you're going through, and you're petitioning this authority to help you. Ask, and then you have to S. You have to seek. You have to discover. You have to allow yourself to find the answer that you're looking for. You have to put yourself into the word. You have to put yourself into worship. You have to put yourself into prayer. You have to go into the places where searching and seeking and discovery takes place. And then you have to knock. You have to knock. You have to get close enough. You have to close the distance between how you feel and where you need to be. You have to close the distance between the doubt and the fear and what it is that you actually want. You have to close the distance by making sure that you're putting yourself in proximity in the presence of God. You have to be close enough to be able to knock on the door. Physically, you have to move yourself physically. Spiritually, you have to move yourself spiritually. Emotionally, mentally, you have to move yourself into a place where you're close enough for God to do the work that you're asking for, because you have to knock. and be close enough to God in his presence so when he opens the door to answer it, you're there to receive the answer. When he opens the door to answer it, that you're there to receive the answer. Seek the Lord while he might be found. Call upon him while he is near. Seek the Lord while he might be found, and call upon him while he is near. I don't know who this is for, but you're going through something. You feel like the walls are closing in on all sides. I woke up with this morning, and I had to release this word today. I know what it's like to be in this place. I know what it's like to be in this place, and I could not get myself off of this word. I could not get myself off of this word because I need it, and somebody else needs it. I have friends that need this word, and I had to stop. I had to push pause and go through what I was hearing the Spirit saying. And you might be in that season where the walls are closing in from all sides. You might be in a season where you feel like you're being treated unfairly. You might be in a season where you got so many problems, 99 problems. And because you got these 99 problems, you can't even ask God to help you because you feel like he's too busy. He has other people that he wants to help, but God is sending Isaiah, and today I'm going to be Isaiah. God is sending a prophet to speak to you, and and the prophet is telling you what God is telling you, and God says, test me, ask me for a sign, ask me for a sign, ask God for a sign. You are not in this fight by yourself. He says up here, he says, be careful. Keep calm. Do not be afraid. And do not lose heart. And then he says, ask for a sign. And he says, if you do not stand firm in your faith, you will not stand at all. So that's the warning. If you do not stand firm in your faith, you will not stand at all. But ask. And when you ask, remember, ASK, approach the authority that has the answer that you need. Approach the authority that can solve the problems that you have. Seek him by discovering him in the places where he should be sought, in prayer, in his word, in praise, in worship, in the house of the Lord. Go into these places and seek to discover what the Lord is saying, to seek and discover what the Lord is doing, and put yourself in a position emotionally, physically, mentally, put yourself in a position, get into proximity so when you begin to knock on heaven's door, the door can be open. You cannot knock on heaven's door from the streets. You have to allow yourself to go in right now. You have to allow yourself to get close. If you feel like you are at a distance from where you want to be and where God is, I need you to knock on his door. And the only way that you can knock on his door is to allow yourself to get close enough to be able to knock so that the door can be open and you can hear his answer when he gives it to you. This morning, I woke up